Welcome back. Well, it is day 17 of the government shutdown with no end in sight. The Trump administration planning for more layoffs of federal workers, even as a federal judge temporarily blocked the move. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says the move is purely political. Watch.
This is another far-left partisan judge who was smacked down by the Supreme Court in July for ruling on this exact same thing. In May, this judge tried to say that the President of the United States does not have the executive authority to hire and fire in the executive branch. And of course, the Supreme Court rejected that ruling in July, and they said, no, the president does have the ability and the legal authority to fire people from the federal government. That is a responsibility of his job as the head of the executive branch. We are 100% confident we will win this on the merits of the law, and these layoffs are an unfortunate consequence of the government shutdown.
President Trump signing an executive order on Wednesday ensuring accountability in federal hiring and would, quote, promote fiscal responsibility and efficient government, the president said. Joining me now is the Labor Secretary, Lori Chavez-DeRemer. Secretary, it's good to have you this morning. Thank you so much for being here. And happy to be here with you in Washington this morning. DC. Look, you were a member of Congress before joining this administration. You've dealt with government shutdowns before. How do you assess this?
Well, I can't tell you how disappointed I am. Again, 5 times I voted on this exact same CR when I was in Congress under the Biden administration, the 2023 levels. And now they're playing games that they will not vote on the exact same CR, the continuing resolution that will open up this government. It is on the backs of the Democrats, and they're playing political games, and they need to show up and they need to vote to open up this government, get people back to work, and get paychecks back into the American people's hands.
Do you think after all of this theatrics of the weekend with this No Kings rally that they're all planning and all these people protesting this weekend, after we get through that, maybe they'll come to the table next week?
Well, the political games are hurting the American people. That's what we know. That's what we hear. On the ground, people want their paychecks. They have to be able to afford their cars. They need to be able to afford their groceries, and they're not able to do that. You can imagine the uncertainty that this game has on the backs of the American people. So whatever political games they have, whatever marches that they're looking for that are anti-Trump, they have to remember that their focus should be the American people first.
Well, let's talk about jobs because, you know, the president is trying to use this as an opportunity to cut down the size of government. Are you expecting layoffs in your department, the Labor Department?
We have no expectation of any reduction in force, but there are people who work at the Department of Labor who are furloughed, who cannot get back to work. And a couple of those things that matter. Exactly the executive order that the president asked. He wants the accountability and the streamlining of the American taxpayers' dollars. He understands that absolutely we want our federal government to be reduced in size. We want the private sector to grow. And that's exactly what we've done under this president. Private sector jobs have been the focus. Under the Biden administration, everything was in the federal government and their growth. So do we want accountability? Yes. Do we want to hire people who work at the federal government to be aligned with the president? Absolutely. America First policies matter.
Let me ask you about that, because artificial intelligence is obviously creating lots of efficiencies across business. No doubt it will cause job cuts. I mean, look, I recognize that there will be new jobs created, just like the .com era brought us coders and engineers and all these other jobs that we didn't even know we needed. So that will be the case here as well. I'm not against new technology creating new opportunities. But what is the plan for those jobs that will no doubt go away because of AI efficiency?
Well, I think that's exactly right. We have to have a plan. And there is an AI action plan. That initiative, I sit on that task force. We have to make sure that we're offering our businesses the flexibility to understand that they can, research and development for new jobs. We know we're going to create new jobs, but AI is here to stay. What I'm doing at the Department of Labor is deploying Make America Skilled Again grants. $86 million just went out to 14 different states right before this shutdown. And now, because of this Democratic shutdown, I can't go out and help those states administer those dollars so that our workforce is skilled and proficient in AI. So to support our businesses and our employees, to make sure they have the tools, because of this Democratic shutdown, we're no longer being able to help. And then we want to get back on the road. I've been on a 50-state tour, Maria.
Yeah, I know
hit
you have.
36 states out of the 50, and now that's come to a screeching halt. I need to get back out on the road and understand what these business owners need and what these employees need.
So you went to 36 out of the 50 states already
That's right.
before the shutdown. What did you hear from business owners, from small, managers of small businesses about AI and about their business climate today?
Well, certainly one of the focuses has been the interest rate, and we've heard constant conversation. The president has been very clear that those interest rates need to go down, and they did at the urging of the president, but we need another rate cut. Business owners want to borrow more money at a cheaper rate, and what do they want it for? To invest in their workforce, to understand that they have a skilled workforce. One of the things that we've been focused on exactly through also an executive order is more shipbuilders, a trained workforce in AI, advanced manufacturing. That's been the focus of this president as he has had our tariff conversations, as he has leveled the playing field. The certainty is there for our business owners to reinvest, and now this government shutdown is hurting all of that. So we need to get back to work.
By the way, we just showed interest rates, yields up this morning, 1.5 basis points, but still below 4%. So it seems like there is a market expectation that rates will come down. Jay Powell says that the labor market is softening, despite the government shutdown delaying the release of the official jobs number. Jay Powell said that the central bank is looking to private payrolls to try to get information on where we stand. The ADP report, of course, came out a couple of weeks ago, week and a half, a 32,000 job loss, biggest slide in jobs since March 2023. And you are bringing back some workers to work on September consumer price report, the CPI report. Tell me what you're doing there. The CPI will be out on October 24th, so we'll get a sense of inflation. What about jobs numbers? How would you assess?
Absolutely. One of the reports that was delayed is the CPI report, so it's coming out late. Again, with the jobs numbers last month, due to this shutdown, through BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, we have not been able to get out these reports on time. The markets depend on it. Businesses depend on it. So we did see a little uptick in the CPI, but still, under the Biden administration, prices are still lower than what was under Biden.
Well, sure, they were at 40-year highs, right, of 9.1% on the CPI at the worst.
And so what do we want to do? We want to capitalize again on the momentum that this administration has put forth, the investments into our country, America First policies, private sector job growth. We want to see the interest rates cut, but we do need to see these numbers come out. So unfortunately, again, at the cost of this government shutting down, we cannot get back to work and produce those reports. But the CPI report had to be done by law because we're going to need the cost of a living adjustment that goes into effect in January 2026 to be accurate, and we needed those numbers in order for Social Security checks to be able to go out on time. Again, the president has been clear. We don't want to touch Social Security. We want to make sure people have those checks in their hand. This report had to be done, and that's why it's going to come out, even though it is delayed by a couple of weeks.
So the report will be delayed, but you feel that you are seeing a tick up in inflation right now?
Well, what we saw is last month, just a slight tick up. What we want to see is the momentum for costs to go down. And we just saw energy prices. I saw you just report on it. Barrel, $57. Every time energy goes down, prices will go down. That's the exciting part. And I think people see that momentum, and consumer confidence will continue to rise. Our economic growth will go, and our jobs numbers will continue to grow as well. We want to see those private sector jobs continue.
Well, the president was very optimistic about the economy when I spoke with him yesterday at the White House. But you said business people want to see lower interest rates. Yesterday, we spoke with Fed Governor Stephen Miron, and he told me about the rate path of cuts that he's expecting. Watch this. Fed Chair Jay Powell signaled that the Fed is on track for another move. Are you expecting it's 25 basis points? Should it be 50?
Yeah, well, my view is that it should be 50. However, I expect it to be an additional 25. And I think that we're probably set up for 3 25 basis point cuts this year for a total of 75 basis points this year. But I think that, look, it would be really helpful to have the economic data in order to be able to make the decisions we need to make. Certainly, we would want to be inspecting the economy for signs of moves lower in inflation, for signs of changes in the job market. But without those data, we still have to make a decision anyway, and so we'll have to rely upon our forecasts for doing so.
So if we were to see 3 cuts of 25 basis points, does that speak to what you were talking about in terms of what business managers want to see so that they could borrow more money and invest in their business?
Absolutely. It's one of the legs of the stool that they want. They see the president is fighting for them. He sees they see the onshoring and the reshoring and the investments. You hear the president, $18 trillion committed to this country, and we're seeing that being put on the ground. We just saw Stellantis invest hundreds of billions of dollars. Major companies are wanting to grow the American workforce.
Yeah.
They need the skilled trades. We've been focusing on that. The four-year degree is no longer really the focus. It's the tradesmen and women of this country who are going to rebuild this country, and we need to make sure that they have the tools, that they're upskilled and reskilled so they can get on the ground and be in the pipeline for these businesses. So that's what they need to focus on, borrowing that money at a cheaper rate to invest in their workforce, make sure they're skilled again, and they're on those lines and ready to go.
And you make a great point. The president has been saying that we need more electricians, we need more plumbers, and the trade schools are real important. Real quick before you go, how does our audience, if they want to understand AI and make sure AI is implemented in their lives, how are they doing it? What is the training for AI?
Again, Make America Skilled Again grants. $86 million went out to our respective states for AI, for advanced manufacturing, for shipbuilding. We need to know we get those dollars in their hands. We're talking middle schoolers and high schoolers to be trained in AI. They're native to AI. We have to make sure that they have the skills that the market demands are asking for, and that's listening to our business sector, pairing those two together, and that's getting those dollars on the ground so they're ready to go. We're on board with it. We're ready to deploy those dollars and administer those dollars. And now we need to get this government open. They need to stop playing political games because the American people are counting on those paychecks every single day.
For sure. Secretary, great to have you.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you so much. Good to see you. Secretary Lori Chavez-DeRemer here in studio.